What is this bone? It's called your scapula. And today I'm going to treat the features of scapula. In the last time I did the I talked about the let me start from the outline of studying the osteology of any bone. Anytime you are given a bone to discuss or talk about or write about, this is the outline you should use. First, diagram. That is for the most important thing in any discussion of any osteology. It carries like, if you are being asked in a test to study the osteology of this scapula, you should know the diagram. Of all things to forget, do not forget the diagram, because the diagram has like the 40% of the mark or 50% of the mark. Do you understand? So after diagram, you see introduction. I've done that in my last video. After introduction, you see features, the one I'm doing today. After features, attachment, then ossification, then peculiarities and clinical anatomy. So today I'm treating features. What is the features of this scapula? Without wasting much of your time, let's start with this, the most obvious one. It has two surfaces. This right here is the costal surface, and this is the dorsal surface. The costal surface, from the word cosco, the ribs, another name for ribs, cosco, because it articulates and faces the ribs. It is like this. You understand? I mean, like this. This faces the ribs. It faces the ribs. Why this part is the dorsal surface, or you can also call it posterior surface, because it faces backward like this. So it faces backward. That is the first feature. The second feature, it has three fossa, which is the infraspinous fossa. This one below here is infraspinous fossa. This one below here is supraspinous fossa. And this one here is subscapular fossa. Now, it also has three processes. The spinous process from here is to here, the spinous process. Then from up here to up here is acromion process. And this one right here is the coracoid process. The spinous process, if you can look at it, is arising from the midline. It's arising from here. So it arises from here and stops here. It divides this dorsal surface. Remember, this is the dorsal surface. So this spinous process divides the dorsal surface into two fossa. Remember, I mentioned fossa earlier. Infraspinous fossa and supraspinous fossa. Are you seeing how they are interlinking? The infraspinous fossa, infra, below the spinous process. Infra means it is below the spinous process. So infraspinous fossa. Supra means it is above the spinous fossa, process. So that is why it's called infraspinous fossa and supraspinous fossa. So this is the spinous process. Then the acromion process is the process that is arising from the spinous fossa. As you can see, it's obvious. So it's just flat, and it has a facet where the clavicle articulates. This rough place, the clavicle articulates with it, something like this. You see it? This is how the clavicle articulates with the scapula in the acromion process. So this acromion process has the facet for articulation with clavicle. Then the coracoid process is the beak-like projection. This one has attachment of muscles like coracobiacalis, the pectoralis minor, and the rest of them. So that is another feature. The next feature I'm talking about now is notch. Notch is, let me talk about border first and angle. The next feature I'm talking about is angle. It has three angles. The medial angle, let me talk about border. It has three borders: the medial border, the lateral border, and the superior border. You know what a border means? It divides two places. So this is the medial border. It faces the midline. It faces the midline. Lateral border is away from the midline, and superior border is above. So now the next feature, angle. The inferior angle, the superior angle, and the lateral angle. Do you understand? Yes. So this superior angle is where the superior border and the inferior border, and the medial border meet. So the superior angle is what? Where the superior border and the medial border meet. The inferior border, the inferior angle, is where the lateral border and the medial border meet. So if you can see, the lateral border is the lateral border is a little bit fatter, more fat than the medial border. The medial border is this thin and it's facing the midline, so you can identify it. So lateral border is the one that is where you can locate the glenoid cavity and infraglenoid. Don't worry, we'll get there. So the next one is, I've talked about border, notch. The next one is notch. Notch is a sharp or VU-like indication, unlike fossa that is gradual indication, you understand? This one is sudden or V or U-like. The first one is, the three notches are suprascapular notch, the spinoglenoid notch, and the circumflex scapular notch. This is the suprascapular notch, above here, suprascapular. Then the spinoglenoid is right here, in between the accruing process and the glenoid cavity, is right here. Then we also have the circumflex of the scapular notch. Do you understand? Yes. So we have the glenoid cavity. This is this circular something here. This is the glenoid cavity. We have three tubercles, which is the infraglenoid tubercle. You remember, this is the glenoid cavity. So this takes its name from the glenoid cavity, which is infra below. Glenoid tubercle. And this is the on top. So you call it supraglenoid tubercle. Is that easy? Then we also have tubercle of the spine. You understand? So what next? What other feature? I think that's all the features I've just mentioned. Yes, that's all the features. So remember, don't forget, anytime you are giving ossification, diagram is your top priority. In fact, if you can draw diagram and the rest of them, you should just write. You can just briefly write them. It's better than leaving out diagram and writing others, because this one contains, the diagram contains like half the percent of the mark. Do you understand? Yes. So I'm gonna see you in my next video. I'm going to talk about the attachment of muscles and ligaments in this bone. It's one of the most important things you should not forget in osteology of any bone. So don't forget to comment and like. That's my most important priority. Just comment, tell me things you know about this one. As you can see, I'm also a student, so you can learn together. You can interact through comments. It's not compulsory that you subscribe, but it's compulsory you comment.